Hello everyone, this is Chris and this is my channel, Barn on 11970. Thank you for listening to what I'm about to say. And I made a video back on January 3rd of this year. And the video, as you can see here, is entitled The Greatest Money Scam Ever, Made Simple to Comprehend is the Rest. If you have not seen that video, I highly recommend you watch it. But as you could see, as of January 3rd, 2016, the total U.S. national debt stood at that particular moment at $18 trillion. Now, this wasn't a moving clock, so it was still moving when this happens. It never stands still. I'm going to show you guys, because it is now February 5th, so basically about a month later, look at where the debt is now. Okay, here is the real-time U.S. debt clock. And you can see in the top left-hand corner where it says U.S. national debt, we are now at $19 trillion. As a matter of fact, this morning when I checked it, this 6 was a 0. So in the span of a few hours, we've increased it, just in a few hours, about $6 billion. It's about to hit $7 billion very shortly. So in 30 days, we went up in debt $17 trillion. Now look over at the middle of the screen where you see the green, the U.S. federal tax revenue, $3 trillion. The total state revenue, $1 trillion. Local revenue, $1 trillion. Income tax revenue, $1.5 trillion. So you're talking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8, let's go 9 trillion. Minus the state debt. They make, let's just say, average $9 trillion the U.S. has coming in. Well, we owe 19 trillion, and we make about, let's round it off to 10 trillion. So we make almost less than half just to pay off the debt. And that's not using it for anything else, because as you could see, the largest budget items, which is where the red is the top left, you go down one, you'll see Medicaid, Medicare, $1 trillion, Social Security, $892 billion. It's hard to see these numbers sometimes to see what they are. They're so high. Defense and war, $584 billion. I mean, and here's the funny part. The other day I made a video and I looked up and said, what was the average household income? And it said 53,000, which definitely just sounded way too high. Well, if you look at the national clock here, if you look on the bottom right hand of the screen where it says the green, medium income, 29,000. That sounds a little bit better. Well, a little bit more honest. Medium new home, $295,000 on average. So the average income is $29,000. A home cost about 10 times the average person's income. Can you see the debt that we're being placed in? We're not making enough money because, I mean, where's the revenue coming from? I mean, how many jobs are people creating these days? You see the job reports, and I'll scroll back to the right again. You have the U.S. population, this is all on the right-hand side. The U.S. population of about 322 million people. Now, that's debatable. U.S. workforce now, only 150 million, so half of the U.S. population is working. What does that tell you right there? And then they have the nerve to say, actual unemployed 15 million. Really? So, full-time workers, 122 million. Part-time workers, 27 million. So of the 150 million they are saying are in the workforce, 27 million of them are part-time workers. Do you think those part-time workers are doing the average income of 29,000 a year? You think they're going to be able to afford a home at 295,000, 200,000, 100,000? There are over 1 million people that have filed for bankruptcy. Almost 2 million prison inmates. So 2 million of the population are in jail. Right now, currently 632,000 foreclosures. Almost 7 million convicted felons. I mean, do you see the bigger picture here? how long, look at that debt clock. It's going faster than it was in the video I made the other day. How long do you think we can sustain this kind of situation before it comes crumbling down? Here are the numbers right in front of you, and these are the numbers they're allowing us to see. These are their doctored numbers, trying to make it as positive as possible. I wonder what the real numbers would look like if they posted them here. Do you think they're ever going to pay that back? I seriously doubt it, because where's the money going to come from? What are they going to do? Borrow more money from the foreign bank known as the Federal Reserve so he could put us even further in debt? Are they going to get it from all the income that's coming in? Because they're making less than half, so don't include all the spending that they do. Just if you took all of the money that they get from the taxes and the revenues and all that other stuff, if they spent it on nothing but paying back the debt, we would still owe about 50% of the debt, which is growing in interest by the second. So if you think cash is king, and you think this can last forever, your head is in the clouds. We have gone up $1 trillion in debt in the past 30 days. Just imagine if every month the debt goes up another $1 trillion. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but what do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to pay this off? And what do you think is going to happen to the people who we owe the debts to? Do you think they are going to continually lend us money? Or do you think eventually they're going to, last call it? Time to pay the tab. So the average debt per citizen, I love that word. You should really look up the legal term of the word citizen. You don't want to be one, although you're called it all the time, is $58,000, almost $59,000. Well, if we scroll back to the right here, the average median income is $29,000. So if you took all of the money you made and paid your supposed part of this, you still owe half. So congratulations. You spent all of your money and you still owe 50% more. You haven't paid one bill, haven't bought one grocery, haven't gone out and done one thing, haven't spent one dime. And it's going to continue to grow. Debt per taxpayer, $158,836. It's just getting higher and higher as we speak. So here it is right in front of you. This is one of the main reasons, but not the only, why there are many people that are considering precious metals as a safe haven for the future and potential collapse of all currencies throughout the world. Because ladies and gentlemen who live in Europe or Asia or South America or anywhere who are sitting there laughing and saying, look, at the U.S. is getting what they deserve. Well, when our currency collapses, all the others are going to follow along suit because they're all connected to one another. So be careful what you wish for, you may get it. This is a set of dominoes set for all to fall. They just don't all fall at the exact same time. And we see the Dow Jones has reached its peak around the $22,000 point range, and it is on its way down. Can it rally again? Well, they keep manipulating the numbers, they keep pumping things into the system. I'm sure they'll give it their best college try, but it's on a decline. And if people start to panic, it's going to start going further and further down. People are very fickle. They are going to wait until the last moment, until something happens, and then they have no choice and they react to it. But for the most part, most people, it's too late. So the people that for years have been mocking physical gold and silver, because I'm not talking about GLD or SLV, because that's more paper scam and more paper garbage and more paper lies, but we get the physical gold and silver to protect ourselves from this situation. Now, obviously, if you have lots of food, lots of ammo, lots of real estate, lots of other tangible assets, they are going to help you as well. But good luck trying to move your property. If you have gold or silver, obviously gold is going to be easier to carry, but it is going to help you. And I love the argument of people saying you can't eat silver. Well, technically you can. If you break it down to its molecular structure and actually drink silver, it actually will help heal your body. So technically you can eat it, but I understand the concept of what they're trying to say. Some people will say anything to try and hurt it for whatever reason. If you don't like gold and silver, instead of hating on it, just don't use it. That's just more for those of us who want to stack up and protect themselves, because as you can see, this debt is not going away anytime soon. They're just going to keep borrowing more and more money, but one day there's going to come a time where they're going to ask for the payment. This is something that the people that are trying to become your next president, are not talking about. They'll talk about all the other silly things, make you cheer on, and, you know, I saw Hillary Clinton's Facebook page. There are so many troll accounts saying, oh yeah, you don't have to tell us anything about what you believe in. You're a woman, so I stand up for you. Really? You're just going to say, well, because you're a woman and that person happens to be a woman too, I don't care what your policies are, I'm just going to fall for you? I'm going to believe in anything you do and say? That's the typical idiot out there that's going to destroy this, what's left of this, whatever it is you want to call it, nation, country, corporation, whatever it is. When you build a house of cards, it can only go so high, and it will come crashing down. The problem is not saying if it's going to crash, but trying to predict when. And they're trying their hardest to hide this stuff. They're trying their hardest to distract you and entertain you and maybe even bribe you with a bunch of free stuff. But it's not free, as you could see as these numbers increase. And get ready, it's about to increase to $19 trillion, $7 billion in the next few seconds. So this video is roughly about 12 minutes long. And look how much it's gone since the beginning. So rewind it from the beginning. Look at where the debt was the other day. Look at the video that I have posted on January 3rd of 2016. It was at $18 trillion. If you think this is sustainable for decades, you are mistakenly wrong. You are sadly wrong. And you are going to find out the hard way. And if this comes crashing down, your dollar is not going to have the purchase price it has now. So my recommendation, if you don't like gold and silver, that's fine. Like I said, there are plenty of people like me and others who will be glad to buy up what you don't want. But get yourself some tangible assets. Take your cash and exchange it for something physical. Buy food, buy water, buy ammo, buy real estate, buy tangible things. Real estate I wouldn't really recommend, to be perfectly honest, in my opinion. Because if this all comes crashing down, expect them to be confiscating a lot of stuff, and property is a very easy one because you can't really hide it, can you? If you have a bunch of gold and silver coins, you can go bury them somewhere. You can give them to a friend. You could place them somewhere they can't find it. You have a 20-acre property. Good luck trying to hide that. So I know people want always positive videos, and I have plenty of positive, inspirational kind of videos, but we also have to deal with reality. You can't sit there going tra la 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 la, everything's wonderful, and not see what's coming. Because sit on a train track saying how wonderful life is and throw around a bunch of rose petals and see what happens when the train comes hitting down the track. So we do want to be positive, but we also want to see what's in front of us, or what's hiding in the surface. You see it here. And we've now hit 19 trillion, 7 billion in debt and counting. So the way out of it is to get rid of cash. I don't care if you're a multi-millionaire. What good is that money if you can no longer utilize it, or you no longer have access to it? There are going to be millionaires, just like in the Great Depression. Research the Great Depression. There were multi-millionaires who lost everything. And you know what? When you're already poor, it's pretty easy, or easier, to survive. If you're extremely wealthy, used to having everything handed to you, and you don't do anything really as far as labor is concerned, and all of a sudden all of that's gone, good luck. People are getting way too pampered, and they're not seeing the writing on the wall. If you ignore this, that's to your own peril. I'm doing this not to scare people, not to bring everybody down, because, so many people are pumped up for the Super Bowl, I could just imagine how many laws and how much this debt will go up while people are pleasantly distracted. They love distracting you. I will not be watching the Super Bowl. I love football, but not as much as I used to because these things are more important. Because in the grand scheme of things, if everything collapses, you think anything that has anything remotely to do with football is going to help me? Help you? And if all of those football players who make millions of dollars, baseball players that make millions of dollars, actors and actresses that make millions of dollars, if they have all their assets in cash and there is a collapse of the economy and the dollar takes a nosedive, might as well be monopoly money. So let's hear your comments. Let's hear what you have to say. Don't worry about the few thumbs down I'll get from some of the trolls, because for whatever reason, they have their psychotic thing where they have to follow me for years and, share their displeasure in me by giving a thumbs down. But I'll tell you, there will come a day, mark my words, that there will be a video up here saying I was right all along about the gold and silver. Never changed it, even though I stopped talking about it for a little while. We'll see. Protect yourselves. Stop being led to believe by these politicians that everything's okay. Because when they say that, they're right. But they're not saying it to you. They'll be all right. Unless there's riots in the streets. Because when you have everything taken away from you, you'll be damn sure that's when those things happen. And I hope it doesn't have to come to that point. Interesting numbers we got here. Hopefully you can look at this and see it and think about it. Because it's not getting any better. That number, especially in the top left hand, the U.S. national debt, it's not shrinking. It's not slowing down. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments, hit subscribe, share this, get this out there. And stop cheering your politicians with fluffed up questions. Ask them the real stuff. See what they say. Let them try and avoid that. Make a stand. Make your voice heard. Otherwise, we're going to get exactly what we give.